So my Oklahoma Sooners, they played a football game on Saturday. And they didn't just play a football game, they dominated a football game 59-20. And let's be honest, if the common theme that's been a theme for Oklahoma this season in terms of the refs helping out the West Virginia Mountaineers with 30 penalty yards in terms of defensive pass interference, that wasn't defensive pass interference on one drive, Oklahoma technically wins this game 59-14. But West Virginia scored on the drive. Oklahoma didn't stop then when they had an opportunity to in the end zone. So the score is 59-20. But Oklahoma could have scored 70, 80 plus points in this game. Crazy to say. But Dillon Gabriel, he had a record night. I don't know if any of y'all caught what Dillon Gabriel did, but that's something that we're going to have to talk about. Record breaker. Something that hasn't been done at Oklahoma or college football for a while. But before we dive into the 59-20 victory for the Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday night, I need to hear from y'all. I need to hear what y'all's thoughts are. So make sure you're jumping down in the comments below, joining the discussion, giving me your thoughts. And, if you haven't already, the simple housekeeping. Yes, hit that like and hit that subscribe button. Now, Oklahoma, they were coming in here on a 2-game win streak, right? Or a 2-game losing streak. And it's important to understand the past 3 games, like if you, for some reason, you've lived under a rock, the past 3 games have not been good for Oklahoma. They were undefeated. They had beat UCF in a thriller at home. And then you go on the road and yeah, you get Kansas shocking you in Lawrence. And then you get Oklahoma State beating you in the last Bedlam. You guys know my thoughts on that. So you come into this game and you needed a big bounce back. Well, Dillon Gabriel against West Virginia, my Lord, 23 of 36, 423 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 11 carries, 50 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Dillon Gabriel had 473 total yards on offense, 8 total touchdowns. Listen, if you can't say, I know some of you are going to jump in the comments. You're going to be like, Dillon Gabriel, he underthrew or he overthrew a couple receivers. You know what? Tom, whatever your name is, Jerry, get out of the chat. We don't need you here because at the end of the day, apparently you don't understand football, right? I understand Dillon Gabriel should have made those throws. But remember, he is how big is he? Like 5'10", 5'11"? Trying to throw over 6'4", 6'5" offensive linemen. It ain't happening, brother. It ain't happening. He sometimes can't see those wide receivers, and you can't dock Dillon Gabriel for just being naturally short. So this moves Dillon Gabriel this season up to I had it pulled up, but now I lost it. A 70% completion percentage, 3,069 yards, for a 9.5 yard average, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Dillon Gabriel has been absolutely stellar for the Oklahoma Sooners this season. With 2 games left, I expect Dillon Gabriel to he's going to get close to 4,000, right? Let's just put it out there. He's going to get close, especially if this offense continues to play the way that they have when they look like a playoff team, which is how they looked last night. Oklahoma goes out here and they play a team like they did last night against anybody else. They're probably hanging in the game. Dare I say winning it? But we got to break it down, right? Oklahoma was just, they were dominant. 25 first downs to West Virginia's 17. Third down efficiency, Oklahoma was 8 of 14 to West Virginia's 4 of 16. Fourth down, West Virginia was 2 of 4. Oklahoma was 2 of 2, right? Oklahoma was beating them in those statistical categories. I said Oklahoma to have a blow the doors, knock your socks off night, need to keep the team under 300 yards. I still think they blew your mind last night, and they only allowed 330 total yards. Oklahoma had 644 yards, 423 through the air, 221 through the ground. Let me say that again. 221 on the ground. Oklahoma, I feel like at this point, they're starting to find their groove in the run game. I think, these offensive linemen, they're getting a little bit more comfortable with what they're running, and you feel good about Gavin Sawchuk, right? Finally, we feel good about Gavin Sawchuk. 22 carries, 135 yards, 6.1 average. His longest run was 30. You let Dillon Gabriel do his thing. 11 carries, 50 yards, 3 total touchdowns. Jalil Farouk had the 2 carries, 29 yards, 14.5-yard average. His longest run was 22. You got to see Dalen Smothers out there for 2 carries. David Bevel even got 2 carries, guys. Yeah, you heard me right on that. And I know some of you guys are going to have questions on the Jackson Arnold redshirt thing. Guys, it's as simple as this. If he doesn't use his redshirt this year, it's going to be a lot easier to use it if for some reason he gets hurt and you need a medical redshirt, right? You don't have to go to the NCAA. You don't have to rely on them. So I get it. Originally, their plan wasn't to use it, but at this point, you haven't had to utilize him. It's not like you have to use Jackson Arnold in this situation. How good are the reps? And Travis Davidson said this perfect on the radio. You put Jackson Arnold out there for garbage time minutes against West Virginia. How good are those reps, right? You're playing West Virginia's second team, third team. You're playing with your second stringers. Like, is it really going to help Jackson Arnold that much going into next season to have those garbage time reps? Probably not, right? So go out there, keep him healthy in case hopefully you don't need him, but if for some reason you do need him, Oklahoma, they were doing their thing yesterday, and let's be honest, if they would have kept the gas going, they could have definitely scored 70 points. Drake Stoops, Nick Anderson, both over 100 yards. Nick Anderson had 119 yards, 29.8 average. Drake Stoops, 164 yards, 16.4 average with 3 touchdowns. Listen, we all looked at Drake Stoops in the OSU game and said, what a wasted career night, because Oklahoma didn't win. And so you kind of felt like it was just overshadowed. He comes out here and he does it again. Austin Stogner had his best game of the year. 4 receptions, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Will the Austin Stogner haters please stand up and sit right back down? Because if this team utilizes Austin Stogner the way that they did for the rest of the season, there ain't no way this team is losing another game, because Austin Stogner is just that dude. I don't know if y'all remember when he was here before with Rattler. Yeah, dude was nasty. Danny Stutsman got to return to action, and you saw how important he was to this defense. Even Danny Stutsman, who, by the way, was kind of playing a little bit of Mike as well. 2 tackles for loss, 8 total tackles, 3 solos. But the defense as a whole, you could tell the communication was better. They were just all over the place. Dejon Terry, man, can we talk about just how important he has been to this team as a transferred defensive lineman, just flat up cleaning up on the defensive line. And Oklahoma gets another, it's not a goal line. Well, no, it's a goal line stop. Oklahoma gets another goal line stop on the season. Technically, they should have 3, but, the refs had to give UCF the benefit of the doubt a couple weeks ago. So Oklahoma's technically only got 2, but you really feel good about this defense, right? And I know there's going to be some people that say, well, they gave up some big plays. Listen, Georgia gives up big plays. Alabama gives up big plays. You can't expect your defense to just come out there and be suffocating unless you're Michigan. For some reason, Michigan is just so much more physical than everybody that they can just suffocate everybody. But Michigan plays a style of ball that it's fun to watch because nobody else is playing it. Smash mouth. They're going to beat you up in the trenches. That's what I want to see Oklahoma get to eventually. But listen, Danny Stutsman, Kip Lewis, man, is that duo, is there going to be a better linebacker duo next year? Especially since you're looking at Omosigo, you're looking at Kendall Dolby, I think, can come back as well. You're looking at Justin Harrington, Desan McCullough at the cheetah position with Danny Stutsman and Kip Lewis. Woo! This linebacker core is going to be great. The question is, can Jaron Kanik, can he put it together and be the number 2 to with Kobe McKenzie? I don't know. I think Kip Lewis took Jaron Kanik's job. And I hate saying that because Jarrett Kanek is a fun guy to root for, but I think some of you guys would agree with me. Robert Spears Jennings, man, he made the most of his opportunity today. 7 total tackles, 3 solos. Gotta love that kid. Billy Bowman, he had 1 pass breakup. Kendall Dolby had a pass breakup. Kenai Walker had 2. He hasn't been the star of the show lately. He's actually been the villain. You had Woody Washington with the pass breakup. You had Kobe McKenzie almost getting the interception. Almost isn't good enough. Oklahoma ended up with 6 pass breakups, 6 tackles for loss, 74 total tackles. You had Reggie Pearson and Jacoby Johnson both getting interceptions. Gavin Freeman did have the muffed punt, but listen, you can't push guys into the guy catching the ball. The ref should call that, but Oklahoma's not going to get that call. And then we got to talk about the elephant in the room. McCade Matauer gets thrown out in that game, right? Defending his quarterback, doing what he needs to. And then on his way off the field, Joe Harris giving him the nice fist bump, right? And if you guys see me on YouTube, which some of you guys might be listening to this on Apple, Google, or Spotify, you see me doing the fist bump. Giving him the fist bump on the way out, saying, "Good job, my brother." I'm sure McCade Matauer will hear from it from Jeff Lebby, as I think even Dillon Gabriel put it. Jeff Lebby will probably tell him his flop was just stupid, but it's fun. Fans will enjoy it. Oklahoma's got some momentum again, it feels like, and you're going to play an 11 o'clock game against BYU on Saturday, and BYU is not very good. I mean, I've tried to watch some games against BYU because I want to see what Oklahoma's in store for. But, I mean, Keaton Slovis, he's only thrown for 1,700 yards this season. He has 6 picks. Their running back has 494. Their best receiver has 524 yards. And they've lost 4 out of their last 5, and they lost 45-13 against Iowa State, 37-7 against West Virginia, 35-6 over Texas, 44-11 against TCU. This BYU team's not good, and I'd expect the score to probably be somewhere similar to what we're seeing against West Virginia. The early spread in this game is -24 over under 57.5. Man, guys, is it too early to say that Oklahoma might put up another 60 against a BYU or 59 against BYU? At least that's what it should be. If you're Oklahoma, though, you probably shouldn't allow more than 14 points in this game. It's going to be fun. Oklahoma's going to get the early morning kickoff against BYU. You're going to get to watch the sunrise out in the west. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. Jealous I'm not getting to go and see the mountains behind Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Oklahoma is going to be rolling in with some momentum, trying to get to the Big 12 championship. And I think that's the question, right? What's it going to take? I mean, your easiest path at this point is for Texas to lose a game. Now, unfortunately for Texas, they've lost Jonathan Brooks. So maybe that hope for Oklahoma, your chances increases for Texas to lose a game. But it's an unfortunate way for your chances to increase, because Jonathan Brooks was one of the best running backs in the Big 12, was going to be a high draft pick, and you're losing him for the rest of the season for, I think it was an ACL tear, right? Terrible news for Texas. And I mean, quite honestly, I'm just sad that we probably will not get Oklahoma and Texas. It's going to be either Texas against somebody or Oklahoma against somebody in the Big 12. Which means one of those teams are going to have to dominate the Big 12 championship game to take home the trophy, to kind of just throw the big middle finger up to the Big 12, which the fans did a good job on Friday night, or on Saturday night. I keep saying last night. Y'all are going to watch this on a Monday, and I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. The fans did a good job of making the refs aware their calls were BS, right? Giving them the SEC chance, booing them off the field. Listen, those refs needed a police escort off the field at halftime. That's how you know things are bad in Norman, right? It's just going to be the breakup, that bad breakup that you guys watched your friends go through with the girlfriend or the boyfriend, and both were being toxic to each other, going back and forth. This is what Oklahoma and Texas is with the Big 12. bad breakup. But there's something on the other side. The SEC is waiting. In my opinion, wouldn't mind after the TCU game to see Oklahoma unveil the next day the SEC logo on the field and just take that pettiness to a whole nother level. Wouldn't mind that at all. But Oklahoma goes out there, dominates 59-20, scores at least 14 points in every quarter. The offense was absolutely explosive. It seems like Oklahoma found their running game. Oklahoma, listen, you lost time possession, but not by much. West Virginia had it 30-32 to Oklahoma's 29-28. But hey, you won the turnover battle. You won the total yards battle. You didn't win the penalty battle, but hey, you take away 30 of those penalty yards, your 5 penalties for 30 yards, or your 3 penalties for 30 yards. Not terrible, pretty clean game. So, like where Oklahoma was at, they play like this for the rest of the season. They're not losing to anybody. Nobody's stopping them. So, Oklahoma fans have something good to feel about. And you're not talking about Jeff Lebby this weekend. You're not talking about Jeff Lebby this weekend. And we said it, Jeff Lebby, I feel like he's on the hot seat. And if Jeff Lebby goes out there and performs like he did on Saturday for the rest of the season throughout, whether it's a Big 12 championship and a bowl game or just a bowl game, we're probably going the next season with Jeff Lebby as our offensive coordinator and Oklahoma fans feeling good with where the offense is at, because Jeff Lebby's finally going to have his quarterback, which, I mean, Dillon Gabriel's his quarterback, but they've kind of had a couple seasons where they weren't with each other, right? So he's going to have finally his quarterback at the helm, running his offense. Third year, Jeff Lebby being here, maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe he'll figure out how to actually call play. Remember, this is a learning curve for Jeff Lebby. He does not have an offensive-minded head coach helping him out. He's trying to figure it out on his own. Maybe this is just a learning curve. Maybe we're getting past it. Maybe that's why we're so inconsistent. But Jeff Lebby goes out there, calls a really good game, probably one of the best games as the OC for Oklahoma. Fans don't have a lot to complain about this week. So we're moving on to BYU, hoping this carries over, hoping this team carries this momentum over. Not looking ahead because you got a short week after that, TCU on Black Friday. But Sooner Nation, want to hear from y'all, want to hear what y'all's thoughts are. So make sure you jump down in the comments below, hit that like, hit the subscribe button, join the discussion. Let me know what y'all's thoughts were around the Oklahoma-West Virginia game.